Hello, everyone! Welcome back to After Hours with KZ. I'm so glad you're here. Tonight's anonymous story had my jaw on the floor. I don't know where this story is going, but let's read it together, because I have a feeling we're all going to have some opinions by the end. All right, let's get into it. I found an opened box of condoms in my husband's car glove compartment with several missing. 3 years ago, I almost died having our youngest son. The doctors told me my body could not safely handle another pregnancy, so I had a hysterectomy at 29 years old. That surgery destroyed me emotionally. I remember crying to my husband saying I felt less like a woman, and he promised me over and over that he loved me, and none of that mattered. We have not used condoms in years. There is literally zero reason for my husband to even own them because of my surgery. When I asked him about it, he got irritated immediately instead of shocked or confused. First, he said they weren't his. Then he claimed maybe they belonged to the previous owner of the car. We've had this car for 7 years. After that, he said maybe one of his coworkers accidentally dropped them in there. Then he tried saying maybe one of his friends borrowed the car and left them behind. My husband is obsessed with his car. He babies that thing like it's another child. He won't even let family members drive it to the gas station, let alone borrow it long enough to leave condoms in the glove compartment. Nobody drives that car except him. Then he started accusing me of planting them there myself just to start a fight with him. He said I'm always looking for drama, that I love acting like a victim. He told me I was pathetic for crying and asked if I was seriously this desperate for attention. At one point, he literally said, maybe if you weren't so miserable all the time, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I was standing there crying so hard I could barely breathe while he sat on the couch scrolling through his phone, acting annoyed that I was upset. The part that keeps replaying in my head is that this is the same man who held my hand before my hysterectomy while I cried about losing the ability to ever have another baby. And now I'm sitting here staring at missing condoms, wondering who they were being used with. I have never asked or went through his phone before, and now all of a sudden he have changed the code, refusing me to take a look to prove his innocence. Other than the condoms, there have been no other obvious signs of cheating. I am second-guessing myself and going crazy. How would you ladies handle this? Let me take a deep breath. Oh, wow. Sweetie, let me virtually hold your hand while I say this. I think he's cheating. Here's why. First, you asked him a simple question. Instead of giving one clear explanation, he gave you a whole list of them. They're not mine. Maybe they belong to the previous owner. Maybe a coworker left them. Maybe a friend borrowed my car. Except, according to you, nobody drives his car but him. So those explanations don't really add up. Then, when you weren't buying the excuses, he switched tactics. He gaslit you. He called you dramatic. He told you that you were looking for attention. He made you feel like you were the problem instead of addressing the actual question. And then, he changed the passcode on his phone. Girl, from my perspective, those are all major red flags. Is the box of condoms alone absolute proof of cheating? No. But when you combine the condoms, the inconsistent explanations, the insults, the gaslighting, and the sudden phone passcode change, it paints a picture that would make a lot of people question the relationship. I'm so sorry you're going through this, especially after everything you endured with your hysterectomy and the emotional support you thought you had from your husband. Now the ball is in your court. What kind of marriage do you want moving forward? One where your questions are met with honesty, or one where you're made to feel crazy for asking them? But that's just my opinion based on the anonymous story that was submitted. Listeners, what do you think? Do you think these are signs of infidelity, or is there another explanation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.